Colonel William Bill Stryker, MD, is a fictional comic book supervillain in the Marvel Comics universe, and enemy of the X-Men. In the film X-2, Stryker is played by Brian Cox as a U.S. Army colonel with a fervent desire to harvest mutants for weapons to take down potential mutant threats, such as Magneto. Danny Huston portrays Stryker in the superhero prequel movie, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, in which he is the villainous leader of the Weapon X project. Josh Helman portrays a much younger Stryker in X-Men, Days of Future Past. In 2009, Stryker was named IGN's 70th greatest villain of all time. Publication history: created by writer Chris Claremont and artist Brent Anderson, he first appeared in the 1982 graphic novel X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills. Fictional character biography. God Loves, Man Kills. Stryker is a religious fanatic, with a military history which may have involved the Weapon X project. Stryker is characterized by his unequivocal hatred of mutants. So strong is this hatred that Stryker goes so far as to kill his own wife and mutant-born son, Jason, immediately after his birth in Nevada. Crazed and outraged, Stryker then makes a failed suicide attempt. As time passes, he is convinced that Satan is a plot to destroy humankind by corrupting prenatal souls, the result of this corruption being mutants. Additionally, Stryker eventually comes to see the birth of his mutant son as a sign from God, directing him to his true calling, ensuring the eradication of all mutants. Driven by this newfound conviction, Stryker then becomes a popular but controversial preacher and televangelist. While his followers, including a secret paramilitary group called the Purifiers, commit hate crimes against mutants, Stryker arranges to have Professor Xavier kidnapped, brainwashed, and attached to a machine that, using his brainpower, will kill all living mutants. In order to stop this scheme, the X-Men are forced to join forces with their nemesis, Magneto. When the extent of his bigotry becomes obvious, he attempts to kill Kitty Pryde in front of a television audience. One of his own security guards shoots and arrests him. God Loves, Man Kills 2, Stryker, who made no appearances until this storyline in Extreme X-Men, was assumed forgotten. This time, it was revealed that Stryker had been serving a prison sentence as a result of the events of his previous actions. Lady Deathstrike, a character with ties to the X-Men's Wolverine, makes her way onto the airplane where Stryker was being transferred. Once there, she kills his guards and rescues him. Then it is revealed that the two are lovers, and he immediately begins a crusade against the X-Men, focusing on Wolverine, Cannonball, the Extreme X-Men team, and Shadowcat, against whom he apparently keeps a grudge. Stryker sent a group of his followers against several of the X-Men, and kidnapped Kitty Pryde. Along the way, Kitty convinced Stryker that mutants were not an abomination, and he seemed to turn over a new leaf. Decimation, however, he came back as a major player right at the start of the Decimation following Marvel's House of M event, deeming the sudden massive reduction in number of the mutant population a sign of God, saying he made the first step and now we have to take the next, basically rallying for genocide on TV. He was featured mostly in New X-Men as the main villain, but also appeared in other comics set during this time frame. With the help of Icarus, one of the Xavier Institute students, he caused a bus to explode, killing about 1/4 of the depowered students from the academy. Then he planned the assassination of Wallflower, ordering one of his snipers to shoot her in the head. Next he tried to kill Dust, though it was actually X-23. The deaths of Wallflower and Dust were Stryker's prime objectives, as he had been informed by Nimrod that both girls would destroy his army. Finally he attacked the Institute with his Purifiers, killing Quill, leaving Onyx and Cannonball critically wounded, and hurting Bishop, Emma Frost, and other students. After Stryker's Purifiers were defeated, he was killed by the enraged boyfriend of Wallflower, Elixir, who causes catastrophic damage to Stryker's brain via the rapid growth of a tumor. Bastion resurrected Stryker with a technic, to join Bastion's new Purifiers. Bastion revealed that as the founder of the Purifiers, Stryker has the second highest number of mutant kills. He is surpassed only by Bolivar Trask, the founder of the Sentinels. Bastion charges Stryker to locate Hope Summers and Cable, following their return from the future in the Second Coming event. His Purifiers, in conjunction with Cameron Hodges' right foot soldiers, engage the X-Men and New Mutants. The Purifiers take out Magik with a weaponized ritual, and Lyanna is abducted by demons through one of her own stepping discs. They also disrupt Nightcrawler's teleportation with a sonic attack, disorientating him. The battle culminates when Wolverine orders Archangel to take out Stryker. Warren shifts to his death persona and slices Stryker in half at the waist with his wings. Other versions, Ultimate Marvel. In the Ultimate Marvel reality, Beast reveals that the leader of the anti-mutant conspiracy within the U.S. government that operated was an admiral named Stryker, who is also linked to the creation of the Ultimate Marvel Universe's version of the Legacy virus. Stryker's son Reverend William Stryker, Jr. later appears in Ultimatum as a leader of an anti-mutant coalition armed with Sentinel tech. Probably stolen from S.H.I.E.L.D. He has Sentinel tech body armor, and resembles Ahab from the mainstream Marvel Universe and various alternate realities. His wife and son are killed during the events of Ultimatum, who leads his hatred against mutants. Stryker's forces later attack Juggernaut and Rogue. He is later seen with the advanced Sentinel units, Nimrod. When he attacks Times Square, executing mutants in public, the X-Men appear and the Shroud kills him by phasing her arm through his abdomen. However, it's revealed that he's also a mutant with the power of technopathy. His father used medication in order to suppress his abilities, but with his last breath his powers manifest and manipulate a wave of Nimrod Sentinels to kill every mutant on the planet. It is revealed that Stryker's last act left his brain patterns imprinted on the Nimrod model Sentinels, and have built a base based on Stryker's image, Master Mold, who continues to be a threat to the X-Men. William Stryker Sr. recently reappeared in flashbacks under the pressure of God to kill mutants, another trait he passed on to his son. Age of Apocalypse. In the Age of Apocalypse reality, William Stryker's father was raised by a preacher who cared for him and other children from their town after most were slaughtered by mutants. However, in a horrible stroke of irony, his father was later killed by other surviving humans. As such, he had to live in hiding, learning to depend on the kindness of both humans and mutants, somewhat ironically making this Stryker a far more tolerant person than his 616 universe counterpart. He takes the guise of prophet and begins to avenge humanity along with Exterminated. He breaks into the apartment of Kraken, an engineer who built ovens to incinerate humans, and murders him but not his family. Before killing Kraken, Prophet reveals he previously destroyed one of Kraken's eyes and then finished the job by cutting off his head. William studies the Sentinels and mutants' hunt of humans in order to refine his skills in taking them down. He says he's learned their weaknesses, and despite their powers, his will and skill is more powerful. With ease, Prophet made his way up an attacking Sentinel, cuts into its head and flips away as the robot is destroyed from the damage. He says his talents were obtained by watching the slaughter of thousands and his victories honor them. As Weapon X leads his final attack on the last surviving city of men, Prophet allows them to escape by throwing an explosive at Weapon X. He then leads his team out of the city. Once clear, the city is destroyed by Weapon X. In other media, film. Stryker appears as the main antagonist of X2, played by Scottish actor Brian Cox. His military background from the comics is expanded in the film. Stryker is said to be a military scientist who has gone into defense contracting, but in a reference to his comics counterpart, several lines of his hint at a belief that he's destined to eradicate mutant threats, and that he has been ordained by God to do so. His connection to Wolverine is made more explicit, as is his motivation regarding his son. Also, rather than having killed his son, Jason, at birth, Stryker sent him to Xavier's school in hopes of curing him, regarding mutation as a disease that must be cured. Xavier had no interest or belief in curing mutants, which angered Stryker. Additionally, Jason continued to grow angry, resentful, and vindictive towards his parents. He tortured them by planting illusions in their brains until his mother committed suicide by drilling into her own brain in order to bore the images out. Stryker then gave his son a lobotomy to make him more docile, making him Mutant 143, and allow him to derive a brainwashing potion from Jason to control mutants. He attacks the X-Mansion, learning the information from brainwashing Magneto. He kidnaps Cyclops and Professor Xavier and brainwashes them both. Jason, under his father's direction, brainwashes Xavier after Xavier learns that Stryker is the mastermind behind an assassination attempt on the president by a brainwashed Nightcrawler into using a near-identical reproduction of Cerebro to kill all mutants, while Cyclops is left to confront the attacking X-Men. Magneto, wearing a helmet designed to shield against telepathic attacks, is able to reach Xavier while the X-Men are incapacitated by the psychic assault, but then he uses Cerebro 2 to kill all ordinary humans by making some adjustments to Cerebro 2 and has Mystique impersonate Stryker and instruct Jason of the change in plans, which Jason then communicates to the brainwashed Xavier after Magneto and Mystique escape. Stryker attempts to escape himself, but his attempt is foiled by Wolverine, and Stryker tells him about how he apparently volunteered to have the adamantium put in his skeleton. He leaves William, who tries to escape again, but is then psychically assaulted by Cerebro 2, and is shocked and can't believe that the weapon was used against him. During the assault, William is chained to a large block of debris by Magneto after he tells Stryker they won't meet again. Meanwhile, Storm and Nightcrawler enter Cerebro 2 and disrupt Jason's illusion, allowing Xavier to break free from his control before any humans are killed. In his last moments, Stryker is approached by Wolverine and asks him whether he would actually side with him or mutants. Looking at the young mutant he was carrying to safety, a young boy with a lizard-like tongue, Wolverine informs Stryker that he would take his chances with him, and left him to die. As Wolverine walks away, Stryker bellows after him that one day someone will finish what I've started. One day. Given his immobilized status, Stryker is presumably killed when the nearby dam bursts. Later, Xavier and the X-Men gave the President the files from Stryker's office containing the evidence of Stryker's crimes. Stryker is once again the main antagonist in X-Men Origins, Wolverine, set roughly 15 years before the first film, according to Stryker's statement when he meets Wolverine again in X-Men 2, and is portrayed by Danny Huston. Huston liked the complex Stryker, who both loves and hates mutants, because his son was a mutant and drove his wife to suicide. So he understands what they're going through, but despises their destructive force. He compared the character to a racehorse breeder, who rears his mutant experiments like children but abandons them when something goes wrong. In the film, Stryker starts off as a major trying to recruit Victor Creed and James Howlett to join Weapon X. While searching for a mysterious rock, Stryker threatens to kill civilians to garner information, causing James Howlett to leave the team. Through the years Stryker begins working with Agent Zero and Creed and using Wade Wilson as Weapon 11. He tells Creed to kill all the other members of the team and to have Logan's girlfriend, an agent of Stryker's, keeping an eye on Logan, fake her death. After Logan is left for dead by Victor, Colonel Stryker persuades Logan to become Wolverine. The process is successful, and Stryker wants to use Logan's DNA for the 11, but Logan hears him give the order to erase his memory and escapes. After General Munson tries to shut Weapon X down, learning of Stryker's son and believing that he is too emotionally close to the situation, Stryker kills him. Also, Stryker kidnaps mutants, including a younger Cyclops, in order to pass their abilities into Weapon 11. The others escape with Kayla while Logan and Victor battle Weapon 11. Weapon 11 is defeated, but Stryker shoots adamantium bullets in Logan's head, causing amnesia as a result of the damage done to his brain. Although the physical injuries heal, his memories seem to be permanently gone. Stryker attempts to shoot a dying Kayla, but using her power of persuasion, Kayla forces Stryker to walk until his feet bleed, and keep walking. Stryker unwillingly does so. As he is walking down the road in a scene during the credits, he is picked up by the military police who arrived to bring him in for questioning about his connection with General Munson's murder. In the scene, he is seen to have gained weight and has more rugged features, reminiscent of Brian Cox's performance of the character in X2. William Stryker Sr. plays a minor role in X-Men, First Class, played by Don Creech. He appears as a CIA agent set in the 1960s discussing the existence of mutants with Charles Xavier. Stryker Sr., like his son, has anti-mutant beliefs. Xavier reads his mind and mentions that he was thinking of his son William to prove he was a mutant. His bigotry is also apparent. He manages to work out a deal with the Soviet forces off of Cuba's coast to join U.S. naval forces in attacking the X-Men at the film's climax, which disastrously fails due to Magneto's incredible mutant command over electromagnetism. Stryker is featured as the secondary antagonist of X-Men, Days of Future Past, played by Josh Helman, while archive footage of Brian Cox from X2 appears. According to Josh Helman, Stryker is Bolivar Trask's right-hand man in this film, which focuses on the beginning of Stryker's education into mutant affairs. Helman also revealed that he originally cast as the young Juggernaut but was cast as Stryker instead. During the film, now Major Stryker witnesses Wolverine in action when Wolverine, Hank McCoy Beast, Eric Lenshier Magneto and the currently powerless Charles Xavier attempt to avert Mystique's assassination of Trask, but the sight of Stryker causes Wolverine to collapse and regress back to his past self due to the heightened emotional turmoil as he remembers what Stryker will do to him in the future. Stryker is also present when Trask attempts to demonstrate the Sentinels. Mystique is later shown posing as Stryker when Wolverine is recovered from the river Magneto having impaled him with metal bars and thrown him away but it is unclear where the original Stryker is located. Video games. The game-exclusive master villain in X-Men Legends named General William Conqued is largely based on the film series incarnation of Stryker and similar human X-Men villains such as Bolivar Trask and Dr. Stephen Lang. William Stryker is referenced several times in X-Men, the official game. It's revealed that his son Jason Stryker survived and is using his father's secret program Master Mold to kill the X-Men. It's also revealed that Hydra and Kinoikyo Harada funded it with him, and gave Harada's apprentice, Yuriko Oyama, to him as a gift. Captain Major Stryker appears in a major role in X-Men Origins, Wolverine voiced by David Florek. William Stryker is a villain in the video game Marvel Heroes voiced by Jim Connor. He paid MODOK to create weapons for the Purifiers to use against their war against the mutants and gave mutant genetic material to Mr. Sinister. References. External links, William Stryker at Marvel.com.